Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining us today. Wanted to seek the blessings of Lord Damodara, Radha Madhav, Radha Shyamsundar Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gaurnitai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So this month is very special, as we were discussing yesterday. And one aspect of it, which is very interesting, is how Radharani fits into the equation here, because the pastime is between Yashoda Mai and Krishna. So I wanted to just explore that briefly before looking at some of the leelas of this month. So, month of Damodar, remembering this pastime and hoping to one day be able to tie Damodar with their ropes of love. All the devotees offer ghee lamps in the evening and in the morning, and sing the beautiful Damodarastakam, creating very transcendentally surcharged atmosphere to attract the minds of the conditioned souls of this material world and make them realize the eternal identity as a servant of Sri Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nityadas. So we should always understand we are servants of the Lord. So this month is also known as Urja Vrata. So that's what we were talking about yesterday. We touched on it. Urja Vrata means Shakti and refers to Shri Krishna's internal potency, which is none other than Vrindavaneshwari Shri Radharani. And thus she is the predominating deity of this month of Kartik, and the glorification of her transcendental name, fame, forms, and qualities is the main vrat to be performed in this month. So that sort of goes a little bit against, not against, but it's a little contradictory in the sense that we celebrate the pastime of Damodar, but actually the month is one of Srimati Radharani's month, because it's all about bhakti, and she's Bhakti Devi. This is the month where Shri Radha and the other Sakhis sing the Gopi Geet, which is truly relished by the elevated Vaishnavas, following the mood of the young damsels of Braj, whose love for Krishna is unsurpassed, and the foremost of whom is Srimati Radharani, Radhika. So Kartik is named after Radha. So this month is known as Kartik Mas. Radha's mother's name is Kirtida. And so Radha is called Kirtida Kumari. Hence, Radha is also known as Kirtika. So this month is also called Kartik Damodar. So Kartik actually refers to Radharani. So when we say Kartik, we're referring to Radharani. So it's very interesting. We often say Radha Damodar ki jai. However, Radharani does not seem to appear in this pastime, which was essentially between Yashoda Mai and Lord Krishna. However, in the Krishna Kanamrit, written by Bilva Mangal Thakur, is mentioned a glorious pastime that happened in Golok, Vrindavan. So this is something that's happened not here, not in the Vrindavan in the material world, but in the Golok Vrindavan in the spiritual kingdom. Once Radharani tied up Krishna. So again, this pastime of Damodar actually originates in the spiritual kingdom. Radha and Krishna had agreed to meet at a specific time, and Krishna came 2 hours late. Dreadful mistake. Krishna said that he had been busy due to preparations for Govardhan Puja. He was trying to convince Radha sweetly, but Radha was very angry. Well, he was 2 hours late. No excuse for that, really. So Radha took a golden belt from her waist and tied Krishna to a tree. Jiva Goswami mentions that Krishna was ecstatic with Radharani's anger. He loved it. Due to being tied, Krishna is called Damodar. This is an intimate pastime, so it does not occur in Bhuma Vrindavan. Bhuma Vrindavan means the Vrindavan which happens here, the Vrindavan pastimes that take place on earth. Therefore, we worship Yashoda Damodar and Radha Damodar in this month. In temples in Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna are tied with a thin golden rope from Radha's waist to Krishna's waist. So this is very interesting. Very interesting pastime. And it sort of solidifies this point about Damodar. This month is truly glorious, not only due to the aforementioned reasons, but also because many prominent pleasing pastimes of the Lord, we've been through this yesterday. So we don't need to go through this too much. This bit we didn't go necessarily through. Bali Vaman Leela took place in this month of Kartik. The Kurma and Mohini appeared in this month as well. A tear from Vishnu fell in the Amrit pot and Tulsi Devi appeared. Krishna killed Keshi, Vyamasura and Kams in this month as well. Oh, oops. So other pastimes. A crow came to take Krishna to Mathura in this month. Dhruv had darshan of Vishnu in Madhuvan. Ambarish Maharaj also finished his year-long fast near Vishramghat. Durvasa Muni, after fleeing from the Sudarshan Chakra, came back after 1 year to Ambarish. Radharani was coronated as Vrindavaneshwari at Imli Tal. Govinda Kund was formed. Water is important due to Matsya Avatar to devotees. They bathe 3 times a day. Radha Damodar also appeared, and Jiva Goswami was gifted the deity by Rupa Goswami. Bhakti Siddhanta instructed Prabhupada at Radhakund in 1935 that if you ever get money, get print books. So everything like that happened also in this month. This month, so many things have taken place. So again, we went through this yesterday. Very briefly, we offer ghee lamp every day. We sing this Damodarastakam. We try to do more rounds or more seva. Worship Tulsi. She also appears in Kartik. Read the Gita, especially the 12th chapter. And Riyansh very kindly recited the 12th chapter before we started today. Recite the Gopi Geet, Srimad Bhagavatam. We started with that on Sunday. And every day we'll do some astakam. Try to do some fast, either no grains perhaps, or 1 grain meal a day. Of course, I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm eating normally, if not more. Try to do more bhakti and less gossip, less TV, less social media. And then the last 5 days of Kartik, which are like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th of November. 6th, was it 8th? 8th is the 8th. Oh, okay, so 5th, 6th, 7th, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th of November are days where it's Bhishma Panchak. So Bhishma Dev fasted for those 5 days, and devotees also.
It starts with Ekadashi.
Starts with Ekadashi. So that those 5 days, or might be 4 days.
It's 5 days this time.
5 days. Oh dear. So those 5 days, devotees try to do something special because Bhishma fasted. So, and Krishna actually gave him benediction. You don't have a family, so don't worry, because devotees will be fasting for you. So we fast in honor of Bhishma as well as getting the mercy of Krishna. And Krishna put all the potency of Kartik in these days. So if somebody has not been able to do anything all month, then fasting on these 5 days is equivalent to fasting the whole month. So apologies to anybody who's fasting the whole month. So who is Damodar? This refers to, and is another name for Lord Krishna, who is described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, Prabhaben. Are you muted? Huh?
Yes, quite interesting. When you said the last 5 days we have to fast, is it like can we eat like once a day or not at
Oh,
all?
yes. And some devotees just don't eat grains. So Ekadasi for 5 days. Agyaras nukaonu.
So it's farar, panche
Farar.
panche.
Yeah, and then the last day after sunset, then you eat grains to complete the fast.
Oh, so panche panch divas farar karvano.
Yeah.
Pachi-
Yeah, and then
Okay.
the last day of the 5th day after sunset, you eat grains.
All right, thank you.
No, thank you for asking.
And that is this month, yeah?
8th of November
No,
is the last
it's
day.
November.
Ah,
Oh, in it's November.
ah,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
ah.
I
4th
was thinking
November,
about
5th.
Diwali.
Yeah, after
It's,
Diwali.
yeah.
After that, that's
15
fine.
days after,
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So on what basis is Krishna regarded as the supreme? So this is going back a little bit to basics. There are 3 main sources of authorized knowledge: Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So, many people say, oh, I think like this. Well, who cares, right? Because our thinking comes from Guru. What is the opinion of Guru? What is the opinion of the Sadhu? What is stated in the Shastra? That's what's important. Our opinions don't matter. They're just simply our opinion. There's no backing behind that opinion. But we want authority behind what we're thinking. Based on these 3 sources of knowledge below, based on these sources of knowledge below, are some of the bases why Krishna is regarded as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord's supremacy is mentioned in the revealed scriptures. He himself actually reveals it. Aham sarva suprabhavo. He says, I am the source of the spiritual material worlds. Krishna is in charge of the Devatas, the demigods. Krishna describes his position as a supreme in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's divinity is demonstrated. He shows his divinity by his pastimes, lifting of Govardhan, which takes place in this month. The Lord's qualities are enumerated. The Lord's description is provided. So we know his qualities, at least not all of them, because his qualities are always expanding. But we have an idea of his qualities, some of his qualities. He's also described, especially in the the Brahma Samhita and the Bhagavatam. Krishna is described what he looks like. Lord's history dating back to billions of years is described in the scriptures, especially in the Brahma Samhita. The Supreme has been seen. Right? We haven't seen him necessarily, but he has been seen by the devotees. We know his address in the spiritual world. So we're going to go through each one of those. Right? All of these 9 points we'll go through. And we'll see how far we can get. Wow, is that the time? The Lord's supremacy is mentioned in the revealed scriptures. The Vedic scriptures are the only scriptures that have existed since the beginning of time and are written by the literary incarnation of God called Vyasdev, and thus are regarded eternal and the absolute truth. Lord Brahma, who is the first created living being, also the head of the Brahma's Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya, states in his Brahma Samhita, written after he received audience with the Supreme. So he writes that Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is a supreme Godhead. And we know this verse, right? Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigrahanadiradir Govinda Sarvakarna Karnam. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin. He is the prime cause of all causes. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami is one of his prayers, Lord Brahma's prayers. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor. So this is all in the scriptures. After describing various incarnations of the Lord, such as Ram, Balaram, Vaman, Nrsimha, Vishnu, Sukadev Goswami states in the Bhagavatam, all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. So this is direct evidence from the scripture about the position of Krishna. And the Bhagavatam is the highest of all Puranas. And this is a very interesting family tree of Krishnas, where he is the source of Balaram, Vasudeva. I mean, then we got the quadruple expansion, first one. From Sankarsana comes Narayan, and from Narayan comes a second quadruple expansion. And from Sankarsana comes Karanadakshaya Vishnu, who's known as Mahavishnu as well. Then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who goes into every universe. And then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who's also known as Paramatma, who goes into every single body. Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam, which is translated as Krishna. Lord Krishna is the original personality of God. That's also in the Bhagavatam, first canto. Very powerful line. Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. He is also the source of all incarnations. Avatari. He is Amsi, the origin of all Amsas or expansions. So this is really reinforcing about Krishna's own position. Lord Shiva in the Gita Mahatmya states, only one God, Krishna, the son of Devaki. That's verse number 7. So that's confirmed by Lord Shiva. In the Padma Purana, another scripture, by scrutinizingly revealing all of the revealed scriptures and judging them again and again, it is now concluded that Lord Narayan is the supreme absolute truth, and he alone should be worshipped. In the Skanda Purana, it states, in the material world, which is full of darkness and dangers, combined with birth and death and full of different anxieties, the only way to get out of great entanglement is to accept loving transcendental devotional service to Lord Vasudeva. So we know this world is full of danger. At any moment, we're hearing so many situations now of people in desperate conditions. So at any moment, things can happen in material world. That's why we have to be trying to do as much seva as possible. The position of Krishna as God is confirmed by great personalities like Narada, Sita, Devala, Parasar, Brahma, and Shiva. This is in the Bhagavad Gita. This form of Krishna is not dependent on any other. Lagu Bhagavat Amrita. Krishna is the cowherd boy in Vrindavan, is Swayam Roop. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. This Swayam Roop never leaves Golok, as he's always enjoying the highest ecstasy of Madhurya Ras there. He expands himself. Sometimes he comes as himself, like this Kali Yuga that just left, finished, or Dwapar Yuga. So that's the first point, of what we were discussing. Lord's supremacy is mentioned in the review script. Now the second is going to be stated. Krishna is in charge of the Devatas. Okay. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me. The sun shines out of fear of me. The Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me. Death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 25th to 42nd, 25th chapter, 42nd verse. Very powerful verse. Krishna is putting his foot down. Because the Devatas are scared of me, they function. When they stop functioning, I punish them. And this is a really fascinating picture, painting Krishna in the center and the Devatas all around him. They are the administrators of this world. Their power is not independent of Krishna's. Krishna's power is independent of anybody, but our power and the Devatas' power is dependent on Krishna. So Surya is dependent on Krishna, Saraswati, Durga Mata, Ganesh, Hanuman, Kartikeya, Shiva, Brahma, all of these prominent Devatas, their powers come from Krishna. They're not independent. Lord Brahma confirms in the Bhagavatam, what am I? A small creature measuring 7 spans of my own hand. I am enclosed in a pot-like universe composed of material nature. The total material energy, false ego, ether, air, water, and earth. What is your glory? He's saying to Krishna. Unlimited universe is passed through the pores of your body, just as particles of dust pass through openings of a screened window. So Brahma is explaining his small position. Shiva confirms in the Bhagavatam again, 4th canto, 24th chapter, 42nd verse. My dear Lord, you are the topmost of all bestowers of benediction, the oldest supreme enjoyer amongst all enjoyers. You are the master of all the world's metaphysical philosophy. For you are the supreme cause of all causes. Lord Krishna, you are the greatest of all religious principles, the supreme mind. You have a brain which is never checked by any condition. Therefore, I repeatedly offer my obeisances unto you. Bhagavatam, again, Lord Indra, obeisances unto you, Supreme Personality of Godhead, the great soul, you who are all-pervading, who reside in the hearts of all. My obeisances unto you, Krishna, the chief of the Yadu dynasty. Yamraj, again in the Bhagavatam. My dear servants, you have accepted me as the supreme. So he's talking to the Yamadutas, his servants. But factually, I am not. Above me and above all the other demigods, including Indra and Chandra, is the one supreme master and controller. The partial manifestation of his personality are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are in charge of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this earth, of this universe. He is like the 2 threads that form the length and breadth of a woven cloth. The entire world is controlled by him, just as a bull is controlled by a rope in its nose. Ganesh is also confirmed to be the supreme. Sorry, it's also confirmed not to be the supreme Lord. This is Brahma Samhita. And he says, Brahma says, I adore primeval Lord Govinda, whose lotus feet are always held by Ganesh upon the pair of tumalai protruding from his elephant head in order to obtain power for his function of destroying all the obstacles on the path of progress of the 3 worlds. So Ganpati, he can destroy the obstacles, but his power comes from Govinda. So let's stop there. We'll continue tomorrow. It's good to, again, just revise and reinforce our thinking, our bhakti towards Krishna by understanding his position through the different points of view. So today we looked at the scriptures and we looked at the Devatas. And tomorrow we'll look at what he says in the Bhagavad Gita himself. Any questions, any comments, anything that you'd like to share? Anybody like to share? Okay.
Just
yes.
one, it's not the question, it's just that you said about all the Devatas' power come from Krishna.
Yes. Everything comes from the Supreme Lord.
Even Shiva's power is from
Even Shiva's power.
Brahma.
Brahma.
All the Devis.
all the Devis, everybody's powers come from Krishna. Nobody is independent in this material world. Only the Supreme Lord is independent.
And that is Krishna.
And that's Krishna. Krishna, Vishnu, Rama. So all of those, like we were looking at the, let me just go back. There you go. Here it is. All of these personalities are supreme, but the source is Krishna. But all of these are supreme. They're all independent of each other.
Yeah, Narayan, Vasudev, Sankarsana, Padma, Aniruddha.
Three Vishnus, and more, because you got Mach, Kach, Varaha, Nasing, Vaman, Pashuram, Ram.
Yeah.
And millions more avatars, unlimited avatars. But the Devatas are like us. The Devatas are like, apart from Shiva, Shiva is a little different. But the other Devatas, including Brahma, is just like us, an ordinary living entity, but very powerful because of their karma. But Shiva is distinguished. When Krishna wants to touch this world, he becomes transformed into Shiva. And so in that way, Shiva's power is dependent on Krishna.
Oh, it's very interesting. Thank
Sorry,
you.
Prabhu, did you say when Krishna wants to, what did you say, this world?
When he wants to touch this world, when he wants to get involved with this world, he comes as Shiva.
He comes into Shiva.
Yeah, he transforms it. And the verse is in the Bhagavad, in the Brahma Samhita, where Shiram Yatha Dhati Vikara Vishesha Yoga. Basically, Brahma is explaining that Shiva and Krishna are like yogurt and milk. Milk is and yogurt are both milk products. But when you add lemon juice to milk, it becomes curd. Or you add a curding agent, it becomes yogurt. So similarly, you add the material world to Krishna, and it becomes Shiva. So just like yogurt cannot become milk again, Shiva cannot become Krishna. That's why Shiva is dependent on the Supreme. And that's why you see Lord Shiva's posture most of the time, he will be meditating. He's meditating on Shankarashan, actually, this deity here. That's his Ishtadev, Shankarashan. He's constantly meditating on Shankarashan. Why? Because he's the greatest Vaishnava. He's dependent on the Supreme. But he's also different from us. We can never become Shiva, just like we can never become Krishna. Shiva is in a category of his own, Shiva Tattva, a very unique and a very difficult Tattva to understand. So he's unique, but we have to understand he's the greatest Vaishnava. He cannot give liberation, for example. When a devotee dies in Varanasi, Lord Shiva comes and he chants the name of Ram into the ear of that devotee. Why? Because he wants to give them liberation, but only through Ram can that liberation be given. He can't do it directly. So I hope that's okay. Shyam Malini, does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. So Sankarashana is Lord Shiva, yeah?
Shankarashan is the Ishtadev of Lord Shiva, is the worshipable deity, right?
It's not Shiva.
Yeah.
Just one more question. It's I'm just, this is my own personal question. When reading all these different books, all the Purans, like Ramayana, Vishnu Puran, Ganesh Puran, Devi Puran, in all this, when you're reading the Puran, it's always say, in that Puran, it will tell everything about Gayatri Mantra. In Vishnu Puran, it will tell everything about Vishnu. If you're reading Ganesh Puran, then it will tell everything about Ganesh Puran. So that time you're just thinking, oh, Ganesh is...
Yes.
yeah,
right.
I must not say this, but
Yes, no, you're right.
when you're reading the book, then you think, oh, you have to believe in Ganesh, or you have to believe in Krishna, believe in Ramayana.
Yeah.
And then we are getting confused. Now, today you are reading this, that all these Devatas powers come from Krishna.
Yeah.
So when I'm going to reading next time this book, because I do read books also.
Good.
The Puran, only few pages a day, every day, as I joined your Satsang too. And I say, oh my God. I said, I must bring out this question. So
No,
what do you say? What do you say about that?
Yes. You see, the Puranas are written in different categories. For example, some Puranas are given for those in the mode of ignorance. Some Puranas are for those in the mode of goodness, passion, Rajogun. And some Puranas are written for those in the mode of goodness. So, see what the Puranas want to do. For example, Shiva Puran will say, Shiva is the topmost. And the reason it does that is because at least the follower of Lord Shiva gets faith in Shiva. He's got faith in something apart from himself, which is very important. Have faith in something apart from yourself. Reinforce that faith in Shiva. That's fine. But these Puranas are not the highest Purana. There's 6 Puranas which are in the mode of goodness. Vishnu Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam, and there's Bhagavat Puran, and there's another 4. Those Puranas give the actual position. The other Puranas want the followers just to become attached to a certain Devata, so that at least they're following something.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Dongre Maharaj?
I've heard about it, but I don't know much.
Yeah, it's similar like a Bhagavat. It's same thing, like the Pariksit, is that Pariksit? Yeah, Pariksit Maharaj was given a curse that you will die in 7 days, and then Srimad Bhagavat is done.
Okay.
So it's done by his, in his voice. I won't go into it too much now. We can carry on with the satsang. All right.
But that is the same Bhagavatam that we were studying.
Same. That's right. Yeah. When the other day you were talking, and I said, no, it is the same thing. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for asking. And you're always welcome to ask. Huh? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just come out like every time. It's confusing when you read.
Yeah, no, it's right. So the next few days we'll focus on Krishna, and then you hopefully see where we're coming from. So
thank you.
It isn't just a one track opinion. We're taking things from many different sides to understand Krishna's position.
And something else, I can't join in the evening. 7 o'clock is
yeah, no, we're not going to do today anyway, and tomorrow. But then we're on we're going to different homes.
When we can try 7 o'clock in the evening, that time is my husband time, lunchtime.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't make it, but if I can make him eat a little bit earlier, then I can join.
Yeah, no, we'll be at different homes now anyway, so.
So you won't be on the Zoom anymore?
Zoom, yeah, it's a little hard to get it on Zoom at different homes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
On the YouTube is fine.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. No, thank you so much. Huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Lord Damodara ki, Radha Damodara ki, Yashoda Damodara ki jai.